All right, man. What's up with y'all people? We're going to talk now about the new attack on the Capitol, thanks to the brother.
The Green Man. Noah Green.
Yeah, Noah Green.
A.K.A.
Noah Green. Come on, man. Y'all can't hear that name and not think something.
Biblically.
Noah Green. Come on. All right. But anyway, we're going to talk about this from three perspectives, this video. We're going to talk about it from the race perspective, the government perspective, and then we're going to talk about it from the esoteric perspective. So you can stay to the end if you like. But anyway.
And make sure you hit that like or the dislike button.
Yeah, please
be sure to comment.
Please subscribe. But anyway, okay, so this thing happened. Driver rams into officers at Capitol, killing one and injuring another. So apparently this brother just went to the Capitol and ran two officers over. I think it was a blue sedan. And he killed one. The other was injured. He hopped out the car with a knife.
Yeah.
He hopped out the car with a knife and they shot him pretty much. But we're going to read a little bit of some of this article.
But on Friday, not quite 3 months after the deadly January 6th riot at the Capitol, a car came careering midday onto the Capitol grounds, slamming into two Capitol police officers and leaving one of them dead and the other injured.
Now, what was you sent me a video late last night, but it's deleted now. What did it say in that video?
In the video, it said that he got out of the car with a knife and he stabbed.
So they said he stabbed somebody.
But the video is taken off of YouTube. I think it was a local news channel that reported this.
So they took it down because of false report, I guess.
Yeah.
So, okay.
This time, the source of the violence was not an angry pro-Trump mob, but a lone driver armed with a knife who had recently told friends he had left his job and had afflictions. After crashing his car and menacing officers, he was shot and killed.
Yeah, so immediately when we heard about a guy attacking the Capitol and getting killed, we all knew it was a black dude.
Yeah.
The fact that he was killed and how the media reported it was like he was black.
They immediately showed the face.
Yeah, they immediately showed because they like, normally when it's a non-black person, especially if it's a white person, they kind of hold back on the information certainly. So
they hold back on the information and they kind of leave a suspense to it. Like, who is it? Even though you already know who it is.
It's not, they ain't black, whoever it is.
And it's funny because in that video that I had pulled up, there were, there was white people in the comments said, "Oh, not another white supremacist that has killed." And it was like, "Oh, not this time." But I tell you what, they had a lot of dislikes.
Yeah.
If you go to the dislikes on these videos reporting this crime, people already know what's up.
Yeah.
On the driver's Facebook page, which has since been taken down, Mr. Green described himself as a supporter of the Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan and said he had been struggling through the last few months of the pandemic. He said he had recently left his job and had been faced with fear, hunger, loss of wealth, and diminution of fruit.
That last part.
That sounds kind of weird to use that language.
When I saw that last line there, diminution of fruit, I said, who wrote this? Now, that's not saying he's college educated. I'm not saying using words like that, but how he used that, it's definitely scriptural. I could definitely see that in the scriptures, but it's like that language is going to come back, and I'm going to show y'all how that ties in with that Green name.
And he did say that, he had been studying, Louis Farrakhan, so maybe that's why that word, but it's very weird to use that word.
Yeah.
The police identified the dead officer as William Evans, an 18-year-old member of the force. Officer Evans was the second member of the force to die in line of duty this year. Another, Bryant D. Sicknick,
that's a crazy name.
Sicknick, died from injuries suffering during the January 6th attack, while a third died by suicide in its aftermath. Nearly 140 officers were injured that day.
I don't remember that number.
I don't remember that number either.
By the way, have y'all heard anything about the alleged bomb that was planted by the Capitol on January 5th? That the Capitol
AOC was spreading that shit, wasn't she?
No, it was real.
Oh, okay.
Allegedly, a day before the Capitol march, they found a pipe bomb, and then
whoa! This ties back to that TV show on Netflix.
What?
It's a TV show on Netflix called The Designated Survivor.
Yeah.
And they blew up the White House with a bomb. It was a Capitol building.
And they killed the president, and somebody else had the vice president on that show had to become president. No, sorry. He wasn't. He was a designated survivor. He was.
But
like,
he didn't. He had supposedly died too. But he was camped out somewhere hiding because he actually knew who the people were.
Yeah.
That set up the whole thing to do this.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. The vice president did not become.
He was
president.
he was in charge of. He had
urban development thing.
Yeah, he was with that urban development,
Housing
like Ben
development,
Carlson.
Yeah.
That's crazy. If they would have let the bomb hit, that would have tied back to that show, Designated Survivor. Which if Trump was literally House of Cards.
Yeah, that show is pretty much him. But
only thing is his wife never really came out like the woman in the show. She was totally different from her.
They had to change the show the last year.
You could say Michelle Obama was like the wife in that show. I almost thought Michelle Obama was going to run for president.
I got this one. The motivation of the suspect remained a mystery. On Facebook, Mr. Green had posted speeches and articles written by Mr. Farrakhan and Elijah Muhammad, who led the Nation of Islam from 1934 to 1975. That discussed the decline of the United States. 2 law enforcement officials confirmed that the Facebook page, which was taken down on Friday, had belonged to Mr. Green.
They love pointing out that name, Mr. Green, all throughout. Like how they kept pulling out that Boulder, Colorado, Boulder.
The Nation of Islam is a black nationalist movement that has advocated for African American self-sufficiency. That's a good thing, ain't it? It has been condemned by the Southern Poverty Law Center for the deeply racist, anti-Semitic, and anti-gay rhetoric of its leaders. Okay. Including Mr. Farrakhan.
The Southern Poverty Law Center, they condemning everybody, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, everybody is a hate. The attack was a worrisome sign that since January 6th, the Capitol has become a magnet for angry or disturbed people. For the Capitol Police and the lawmakers, it will complicate a top-to-bottom security review already underway that debates over how Congress should balance security and public access to the Capitol. Now, remember when that person ran to the White House when Trump was in office and was shot and nothing was thought of it? Like, why wasn't this a big deal when they were running towards the White House when Trump was in office? That was happening underneath Trump.
No, and you remember Trump, actually, I think that happened to Trump twice.
Yeah.
He was doing a press conference, remember, and they escorted him off the stage because they thought somebody
had got broken into the lawn of the White House.
And then it happened again where I think somebody had they escorted him down to like the basement in the White House.
That's when someone was shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of funny how now it's a problem. A task force appointed by, now this is a big deal right here. This is going to be the government part of this. We already know the racial part of this. Of course he was killed. He had a knife, they said, but he had a knife. Like, he could have, but anyway.
Yeah, they could have,
we always say that you can always use a non-violent way, but with niggas,
they could tase his ass.
They don't waste time shooting. A task force appointed by Mr. Pelosi, led by Lieutenant General Russell L. Honore, has recommended hiring more than 800 Capitol Police officers, developing mobile fencing around the complex, police officers to allow their chief of the agency to quickly summon the National Guard during an emergency. Now see, I hope people see what's going on. You have our government officials are now appointing military trained people,
which means get ready for martial law.
Now, this second part is even more so. Defense Secretary Lloyd J. Austin III approved more than 2,200 National Guard troops to remain in Washington through May 23rd. We know that's not the real date. They're gonna push that jump back to June. And Ms. Pelosi and Senator Chuck Schumer, Democrat of New York and the majority leader, hired former military leaders to be in charge of each chamber security. Listen, when you allow military leaders to be in charge of domestic National Guard, that leads to more militarization.
Yep.
Of your
America now views their citizens as terrorists.
Exactly.
And they're getting ready to implement martial law. I think the COVID thing gonna come back.
Yeah.
And when it come back this time, they're gonna make it seem so much worse than what it is. That's why in the last video when I said choose where you want to be at, because you're gonna be there for a while.
Yeah, but this, I don't know how people don't see this as dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
You don't want to militarize your Capitol Police more.
They're literally, this is how you know, and I'm gonna say allegedly, this is how you know that there is a foreign country that is over America, which is China.
Yeah, allegedly.
China is running this thing right now.
Some Democrats said that the Friday's events had confirmed that fears that easing security too soon leave the grounds vulnerable to attack.
Bullshit.
He said that lawmakers were exploring security practices at the other capitals, including a call with Israeli officials about how they protect the Knesset. Why is the United States calling Israel on how they protect their government buildings? So listen, they're comparing you, American citizens, to Palestinians.
Yep.
Now, Israel is occupying Palestinian areas. So who is American troops going to occupy? They're going to occupy American areas.
Yeah, American citizens.
This right here, they are comparing American citizens at the Capitol or in Washington as tourists and stuff. They're comparing you to Palestinians. The same way Israel calls Palestinians terrorists, they're calling American citizens terrorists with this.
Your government is calling you terrorists, pretty much.
I don't know how people don't get enraged at this stuff.
Nancy Pelosi, all of them, Chuck Schumer, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. They view us American citizens as terrorists.
They do. Now we're gonna move on to
no more marching.
No more marching on Washington. The 100-man marches and all that stuff.
That's done.
Yeah, million-man march not happening. But anyway,
yeah.
Now we're gonna go on to Noah Green and the deeper level of understanding of who he really is. All right, so Noah Green, you got to find out who he really is. The name Noah obviously is biblical.
Yep.
The name Noah. Obviously in the scriptures, he was the man who everybody know him for building the boat. So obviously Noah represents a rebirth of the planet. Noah, let me say that again. Noah represents a rebirth of the planet. Then you have the name Green, the green man. We'll get deeper into that, but look at some of the stuff he said in his post here. He said, peace, friends, family, enemies, and the like. I wanted to give everyone an update as promised. To be honest, the past few years have been tough. And these past few months have been tougher. I have been tried with some of the biggest unimaginable tests in my life. I am currently now unemployed after I left my job, partly due to the afflictions, but ultimately in search of spiritual journey. I haven't had much to lean on the past few months. I've been faced with fear, hunger, loss of wealth, and diminution of fruit. My faith is one of the only things that have been able to carry me through these times, and my faith is centered on the belief of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as Jesus the Messiah.
Yep.
The final divine reminder in our midst. I consider him my spiritual father. Without his guidance, his word, and his teaching that I picked up along the way, I would have been unable to continue.
How can you consider Farrakhan your spiritual father?
Listen,
your spiritual father should be Jesus, the Most High.
Yeah.
But why would you say Farrakhan is your spiritual father?
No, he called Farrakhan Jesus, the Messiah.
Yeah. I'm thinking of Messiah as in spiritual
father. Yeah. All right. So now you got context in his belief. This Noah Green, a member of or at least he supports the Nation of Islam. He is a Muslim, and he called Minister Farrakhan Jesus Christ, the Messiah. So let's get into that name Green, the Green Man. All right. The Green Man, and very occasionally the Green Woman, is a legendary being primarily interpreted as a symbol of a rebirth, representing the cycle of the new growth that occurs every spring. The Green Man is most commonly depicted in a sculpture or other representation of a face which is made of or completely surrounded by leaves. The Green Man motif has many variations. Branches of vines may sprout from the mouth, nostrils, or other parts of the face, and these shoots may bear flowers or fruit.
There go that word, fruit.
Diminution of fruit. That's what Noah Green said. Found in many cultures from many ages around the world, the Green Man is often related to natural vegetation deities, often used as decorative agricultural ornaments. Green Men are frequently found in carvings on both secular and ecclesiastical buildings. The Green Man is also a popular name for English public houses. The various interpretations of the name appear on the end signs, which sometimes show a full figure rather than just a face. Listen.
Now, I may be jumping the gun. What Egyptian god is also associated with green? There it is.
The green face is deity. So we talked about this in our Boulder video, and we talked about this in our Little Nas X video. How a lot of these people, a lot of things that happen happened because these people are using this as a form of worship.
Yep, and Osiris is known around this time in the spring. Because what does spring represent?
Rebirth, growth.
Noah, rebirth. Green, rebirth. Osiris, rebirth.
In one of his roles, the ancient Egyptian god Osiris is regarded as the grain deity and commonly depicted with a green face representing vegetation, rebirth, and resurrection.
Now, who's supposed to resurrect around this time of the year?
Jesus. Now, Jesus is known as the green man as well, according to these occultic people. A lot of these esoteric people see Jesus as a green man. Containers of soil in the shape of Osiris planted with seeds, Osiris beds, are found in some New Kingdom tombs. The sprouting grain implied this resurrection of the deceased. Now, this next one is going
tied to Mr. Farrakhan.
Now, the Nation of Islam or Muslims, that's what Noah Green was. This would tie to him. Qadir, the green one, also transcribed as Qadar, Kaiser, is a revered figure in Islam.
Now, who is a revered figure in Islam in America? We could say Farrakhan.
Yeah. And he said he was Jesus, whom the Quran describes as a righteous servant of God who possesses great wisdom and mystic knowledge. He is most often said to be contemporary of Moses. But in other variations of his story, he lived in the same time as Abraham. The 18th surah, the Cave, presents a narrative where Qadir accompanies Moses and tests him about his oath not ask any questions. Identifies Qadir as esoteric Sufism. With the Green Man in his book about the work of Henry Corbin and others concerning the 12th century Muslim saint, he develops the idea of the Green Man, Qadir, as a principle meditating between the imaginary realm and the physical world. Look, man. There are legends of him, Qadir, in which, like Osiris, he is dismembered and reborn, and prophecies connecting him, like the Green Man, with the end of time. His name means the green one or verdant one. He is the voice of inspiration to the aspirant and committed artist. Look, it's not a surprise that Noah Green, the man of rebirth, drove his car into a man and tried to cut him up
with a knife.
He tried to cut him up the same way Osiris was cut up into pieces. Look, so that ties in. The man Noah Green, the man of rebirth, the Green Man, tried to cut up another man. Look, y'all could not believe this stuff, but it's all related, man. So
this stuff happens around this time. I know I said it's like every video. It happens around this time every year. It never changes.
In the spring, man. But that's how we see this.
And then May, then it'll start right back up again in May, because May is what? May is spring.
May Day is coming.
That's Beltane in May.
Now around May is when we get Jack in the Green. That's another Green Man character. And I want to show y'all this picture here. Now, the Green Man also goes back to, y'all gonna think this crazy, the Black Man. If you look in this picture here, this is an 18th century print of May Day, Jack in the Green in London. Now, these are white people in blackface. They're being Jack in the Green. The green is the black.
Yep.
This is white man and a white woman in blackface. They're being the Green Man, the Black Man. But y'all can look that stuff up on your own.
Or the Green Woman, because it said Green Man or a Green Woman.
Yeah. So that's how we see this. Obviously, from the start of this, of course, the black dude who attacked the Capitol gets killed. Unlike all those, even though they still arresting a lot of those white people, like I said.
Yep, they searching low and high for everybody that came to that Trump.
Yeah,
I mean that insurrection.
Yeah,
as they call it.
Yeah, but then they're using this as a way to kick off martial law, make sure they get more military in the United States. They can call you, the U.S. citizen, a terrorist. The same way. That's why they went to Israel, so that they want to find a way to treat you more like Palestinians. Yeah. And then also the Green Man, which is who Noah Green represents. But y'all can look into that stuff yourself. That's how we're going to talk about it. That's how we feel about it. Please like, comment, and subscribe, or dislike. All praise to the Most High. Peace.
That was good.